everyone, it's Crystal here. I just wanted to give you some quick tips on how to get your offer accepted in a competitive market like here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So first tip is to make sure that you're working with a good agent, of course. You want to work with someone who's going to be reliable, professional, and put your offer in the best light in front of the seller. That means that they're out there asking the listing agent questions, making sure that they're pushing your offer forward. You don't want someone who's just going to, ask maybe one question, email your offer in, and then sit back and wait to hear back. You want someone who's really going to be in constant communication with the listing agent, know what's going on, and try to push your offer forward as much as possible. The seller is also going to want to know that they can reach your agent during the transaction, so you want to make sure that your agent is going to be available throughout the offer process. Tip number 2 is don't try to lowball and get a good deal. Really, in this market, you're going to just be disappointed if you try to lowball. Everyone's out there trying to get a good deal, and really the best thing for you is if you find a house you like, make a reasonable offer. Give it your best shot and really go for fair market value. Tip number 3 is to review and sign all of the disclosures ahead of time. So typically here in San Francisco, a seller will put together a disclosure package, and that will allow all the buyers out there who are interested in making an offer to review everything about the property. So this will include things like inspection reports, seller questionnaires, basically everything that tells you what the seller is aware of about the property. And so that by reviewing and signing that, you're telling the seller that you're fully aware of everything about the property. You're not going to come back later and say, oh, I didn't know about this, so I want a discount now. Or you didn't tell me about this fact, so I'm backing out of the deal. So if you review and sign all of those disclosures ahead of time, you're signaling to the seller that you're serious about this and you have a clean offer. So tip number 4 is to include an introduction letter to the seller. And I know a lot of people think like, oh, that sounds cheesy, or this really isn't necessary, but I've seen it be very effective when you're out there making offers. In fact, a lot of sellers aren't just looking at the offer price. It's not always the highest offer that will win at the end of the day. Sellers oftentimes get emotionally attached to their home, so they want to know that their home is going to a good person or a nice family. And by including an introduction letter, something short and brief, it's going to just tell a little bit more about you and personalize your offer, because otherwise it's just a bunch of paperwork and numbers, and whilst numbers are important to a lot of people, it's not going to be the end all be all. Tip number 5 is to submit a clean offer. So you want to make sure that you're making it as simple as possible so that the seller can just take a look at your offer and sign on the dotted line. You don't want to include a lot of different complications, things that you're asking for, because it's just going to invite a counteroffer and lead to possibly not getting your offer accepted. Tip number 6 is to go ahead and use the seller's preferred vendors. So these are things like escrow companies, title companies. Here in San Francisco, it really is buyer's choice as to which escrow and title company to use. However, if you decide to go with the seller's preferred vendor, you may make the offer more attractive, and you're also signaling that you are easy to work with, and they're going to want to work with you. So a lot of escrow and title companies are very similar. I know as a listing agent myself, I often prefer to work with certain escrow and title companies, but when I'm representing a buyer, I will suggest that they consider using the seller's preferred companies. And the final tip I'm going to share is to think about whether you can waive any contingencies. And so this is going to be very unique to every person, and you are going to have your own level of comfort when it comes to waiving contingencies. But offers often come with a number of contingencies. What this means is that your offer is going to be contingent upon certain things happening. So let's say you have an inspection contingency. What you're saying is, I'm going to offer to purchase this home, but it's contingent upon my own inspection of the property. And so I typically will recommend that every buyer get their own inspection. However, something that you can consider to make your offer more competitive is to waive that contingency and say that you're offering to purchase this property without any inspection of your own, or that you've already conducted your inspection to your satisfaction. And so that's just one way that you can make your offer more competitive and appealing to the seller when you're competing against multiple offers. That said, everyone is going to be different, so you really want to talk to your agent, whether that's me or someone else, and figure out what's going to be best for you. But those are all the tips I have for now. There are tons of things that I could talk about with respect to making competitive offers here in the Bay Area. But if you have any questions or want to discuss further, please feel free to email me or call me anytime. I'm happy to discuss any strategies with you. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and you know what to do. Take care.